Welcome. Thank you for being here. Thanks for all the recent support. Today's video jumped in front of some other videos I was going to do because my V3 31-inch finally arrived. Placed it on order with Mathews back in February or so. Stone color, I guess, was super hot this year. So maybe it took a while. Maybe it was aluminum. I don't know. But anyways, I mentioned on a recent Instagram post that I would be doing a giveaway. I guess this will not be a traditional type giveaway where you enter to win, maybe because my prizes aren't that great. I just have some extra stuff that I want to give away to people just because. I'll ship it to you for free if you're in the US, even including Alaska and Hawaii. Those items are, I have 5 bags of this ground and pound deer additive, feed, attractant, whatever. It's not legal in Idaho, so I can't use it. So I got 5 bags of this to give away. Probably message me on Instagram if you want one, and I'll give 1 bag to each person, first come, first serve. If you can figure out a way to message me on here, you can do that. I just don't know how to do it. And I've got some Mathews hats. I think 2 green, 1 grayish, and a leather one that I've had for a long time, but I don't think I've ever worn it. All of these should be new, but they're free, so don't complain. All right, so that's for a thank you for supporting the channel and giving me some positive vibes and motivation to keep this thing going. So on the V3 build, going to set it up a little bit differently than the Hoyt Ventum. I'm typically, as of recent years, a limb-driven style rest kind of guy. Goodies. Okay. I'm going to try their Integrate Rest from QAD. I've set up a handful of these for other people. I have mixed reviews, but I am always willing to try something for myself. Whether I have a strong opinion for it, against it, I want personal experience rather than speculation that I have created. So I'm going to run that. Starting to become a fan of Spot Hog again, even though I've yet to sight in the Fast Eddy on my Venom 33. So I grabbed another Fast Eddy XL yesterday for mountain archery. Speaking of mountain archery, if you don't know, that is where I work. That is why I have the ability to try out all of this stuff. So if you can support them, go check out our website. It's mountainarchery.com. We carry tons of archery accessories. We're the largest Sitka gear retailer in the entire world. And we carry Stone Glacier, Mystery Ranch, lots of other stuff. If you call us, we will actually pick up the phone and we'll talk to you and give you our honest opinion, help you out any way possible. So there's a shameless plug for my work. mountainarchery.com. Check it out. Okay. Sight, rest. I don't know what I'm going to run for stabilizers yet. I have those Shrewd bars on that prime back there that I really like. A 14-inch and an 8-inch. I don't know if I want to go that big on a hunting bow. I'm starting to change depending on my mood on what I want on a hunting bow for length and weight. I won't know till I try it out. I'm strongly considering running Mathews stabilizers. Let me know in the comments what what you think I should run between the Shrewd and the Mathews stabilizers, or if you have a preference on them. I also had to pick up the Engage Slim limb legs. I had limb legs for my VXR last year, and Mathews decided to change their limb pockets this year. No big deal. I'm a fan of lighter weight, you know, so sucks having to buy one of these. If this video gets 100 likes, I have my limb legs from last year. I will randomly pick a winner for these. These will fit on VXR, Verdicts, Triax, and all of the Halon series bows, to my knowledge. So, little bonus, and I'll find more stuff. I'm being more organized and more efficient this year. I'm finding stuff that's been accumulating for years that I'm just going to start giving away and sending to people, and get it out of my room so I can be a little more clean and organized. All right, let me develop a game plan here on how to slap this thing together. I'll be back in a moment. Bow is in the vise here. I'm gonna cut these suckers loose here. Specs on this bow are 29-inch draw length with the 60-pound mods and 85% let off. I'm typically a fan of lower let off, but maybe my age, I am starting to get used to higher let off, and still I feel shooting decently with it. And for whatever reason, the lower let off on the Mathews seems to really shorten up the valley, so I'm okay with it. I don't know if I mentioned on my Spot Hog 29 thousandths old eyes. Obviously, I'm having memory issues there too, so forgive me. So open up the integrate rest here. Put together, get the felt put on there. One common thing that we talk about amongst ourselves at the shop is the felt sticking to this. Know if it's because this is an aluminum launcher arm versus standard QADs, or a plastic launcher arm, or maybe more so because it's of the 3D dimensional depth of that launcher, or what it is. So I'm gonna try my best to get this to stick. Maybe it's plastic. I don't know what it is. It's something, but I want to say a little bird or somebody, I can't remember who, said to either wipe this down with alcohol and get better adhesion for the felt there. So there's a bajillion videos of this getting put on, so I'm gonna figure out my process of it and be back in a second. Still in the process. This may be a little bit difficult to see. Step one in the manual says to wipe it down with alcohol, but I have the centerpiece down and use the Allen wrench to help push the felt down to hold it. And then putting on the sidearm pieces, you put those little tabs that are out there through the grid, through the skeletonization part of it there first, and use the wrench to kind of press it down in there and hold it, and then you need to bend it and fold it over. So that's what I'm working on right now. This may not be as bad as as I thought. Hopefully it'll stay. A trick that I've used a long time for putting felt on your shelf or any type of rest at all. After I get it all situated, push down as much as possible by hand. I'll flame the edges of it, heat up that felt glue, and then mash it down with my finger to help kind of bond it to whatever I'm sticking it to. Helps prevent those edges from peeling up. Yeah. Something we used to do way back in the day when we'd shoot TM hunter style arrow rest, just the two metal prongs that were stationary up, and that's when you shot cockbane down. You'd either have Teflon slide-on twos, but they would eventually wear out and make your arrow be nock high, change your tune. But we would use nail polish. And you'd coat just a little bit on there, let it dry, and it would allow you to shoot a couple shots fairly silently on the draw before wearing it out, but it wouldn't change your nock height hardly at all. So, all right, that side's on. I'll get the other side put on here. Other side of the felt is now on. Another trick is to take an arrow and run it as kind of a seating tool. So it's nice and round and radiused. I'm happy with how this turned out. I was scared for nothing. You just gotta slow down, take your time, read the instructions, pay attention to what you're doing. And hopefully I don't have to replace this. Hopefully it sticks on there good. This is a lot easier. There's another tip for you. It's a lot easier to do this type of stuff, felting and all that, on really any type of rest before you put it on the bow. Once it's on the bow, you got to work around your cable guard and everything. It's not fun. All right, flame it, just the edges. I don't know. Just a touch, and kind of get it to where your flame's going up to where you're not melting across the entirety of it. Press it down. Backside should be good there. Go to the front. Ooh, yeah, good. Little wrench action. Stay on there for me, baby. The skeletonization part. Oh no. That part's a little harder. Now we'll get it put on here. Oh, forgot our little top piece there. You can skip through this part, that's fine. It won't hurt my feelings. Save the easiest for last. Done. It's good. A little bit of heat. I am going to try something different for my Nock set for in between my loops. Tip that I got from Josh Jones, Spokane Valley Archery. He's a friend of mine. I used to call on him when I was a sales rep. I'm going to use some nylon. This stuff doesn't come in the cool colors like 3D and some of the other stuff. But this nylon, he says, obviously I know it is softer, but I liked his take on it. With it being softer, has a little bit more give to it, to to where you may not run into some of the knock pinch issues, especially like how I ran into on the Venom with that 3D. It solved that by changing to a smaller knock, so I didn't have to cut everything loose and redo it. So undo this big bracket here. Undo your little clamp, and there's a tiny little white arrow on there, and Mathews has a little machined indentation in the riser there that you match that up with. Good. Your rest will be free floating there. It all gets locked down tight once you put this main part of the body back on there, which it's loose like that. So when you go to adjust this rest up and down for elevation with that tight micro adjust knob, you're just loosening that bigger part of the housing up and allows that to move, so you can click that up and down. They say you don't have to go super tight on this, but snug. It's not overly, I didn't reef on it. That's something I've learned over the years. Depending on the situation, I am one to tend to really wrench on stuff, but I'm also that guy that my stuff's not coming loose constantly like a lot of people. It's where you got to find that middle ground of what's good for your setup. Alright, got that baby snug down. I'm gonna figure out my next plan here. So now I'm setting up center shot. I'll try to get this visual here for you guys. What I'm doing, there's my Crocs. From the top limb bolt here, I'm running that arrow through the center of that bolt and then referencing the bottom of where the arrow is going through that extended bridge dampener, which is the center of the bottom limb bolt. So like I said, it's hard to show you here, but I'm looking from the top, putting the arrow in the center of that limb bolt hole, and then looking at the bottom and adjusting my rest to where that arrow is in the true center of the bow. And then I generally don't touch it from there. I mess with spine and top hats to get the bow to tune. It was difficult to tell in that clip, but out of the box, my arrow rest was a touch outside of center. So clicked it a couple to move it to the right. The inside of the center shot looks good. This G-Nock with the factory serving is a little bit tight. I will change that out here. Looking at it, the factory height out of the box, center shot looks or knock height through the burger looks fine. So I'm just gonna run my knock set with the I'm gonna go ahead and do it with the square. Get those tied on here, and then get this rest tied in. Now, a lot of complaints QAD has is their clamp system for their drop cord. Just because I don't like it because it's bulky, but also that Phillips head screwdriver. People, get upset about Torx head stuff, which it is what it is, where 90% of the stuff is Allen head wrenches, but I like running the ripcord clamp for cable operated followays. I used to not like this system, but I'll show you what I do to get it to work and function properly. Running it through the cable is streamlined, nice and clean, but it doesn't give you any adjustment if needed, unless you leave a tag end hanging out there anyways. But even then, so you run risk of cutting your cables if you're having to cut that free and change it out. Also, they include this little rubber plug in there. I don't think I need to read the instructions. I think you just plug it into your burger hole there. Dampening abilities there. So you do this Nock set with the bow square here. Give me in true center. An impression on this rest, you can't see it from right here, but it seems like it sits kind of high above the shelf. I'll be curious to see what vein clearance looks like, see if I'll be able to run my same blazer vein gold tip 340s out of this, or if I'll have to do something with a lower profile. This time I'll remember to do my special finishing knots on these. Beeswax. Don't let me forget to check timing on this bow too. And speaking of timing, that's one reason why I decided to go ahead and give this integrate rest a chance, because of this center guard. I think it's cool technology. It made a lot of sense to me by putting where the cables are stressed to the side and back at the true center of the bow. It's not putting that uneven tension on there. Even though I didn't have much trouble with Mathews in the past once I got them in time with them staying in time. But if you can make pressures and torque and all of that more even across the board, hey, why not? That's a good thing. My good buddy Ryan Black showed me how to properly use a bow square several years ago. That locked on. Might be hard to see, but there's little teeth. Sorry. If you have one of these, look at it closely. There's little teeth and indentions. Yes, this side has the marks on there. I put a black mark on. I guess that's for my trad bows for a 1/4 inch knock high, but it does have the 90-degree marks on there. But those little teeth, and why this arm swings, is for serving material. You can kind of loosely tie your knot around the serving and then press that over, and those little teeth grab and hold that in the exact place so it's not sliding up and down on you till you get that first knot cinched. So I'm just doing a single overhand knot on the first one. Single there, but I'll wrap that around. Again, still gonna go with 5 knots on the top, 7 on the bottom. The nylon seems like it has a lower break strength to it. The wax seems to add and make it not as easy to break, so that's cool. 3. Again, thank you everybody for the support and in me doing these videos. I have a lot of fun. I've worked in archery shops for a good majority of my life. My current role with Mountain Archery right now is in customer service for our online division, so I don't deal too much face-to-face with customers anymore. A lot on the phone. So I'm not working on bows in our shop anymore. So this is kind of nice, you know. worked with customers setting up their bows, and I like talking to people while I'm setting up their bow. And you know, stuff's not going to sink in immediately to them, but why not talk and start the process of learning and education and helping one another out. I do like how this nylon burns more so than the 3D, and with that double knotting on there. Ooh, she's getting a little dull. That double knotting holds the knot good, and then this stuff melts really good to kind of seal those knots. Prefer to have my bowstring horizontal when I'm burning, but I feel like there's enough serving above it. I think Mathews ratio on this serving was a little bit off. Typically don't have more serving above the center. You typically have more below and less higher, but it's all right. At least my string is not cut. Last year my VXR, it took a couple months, not nearly as long as this bow to come in, and when it did come, you know, it had a cut, like half to almost a full strand cut in the string right out of the box. But Mathews was good and sent me a new string within a week, so that was fine. I put replacement strings on it anyways. This bow came in good shape as far as I can tell. The nano dampener on the bottom of the riser there was floating around in the bag. There's a little bit of chip in the riser. That's probably UPS's fault, not Mathews. I'm gonna finish that other bottom knot there here in a second. I'll probably put these side plates on that I had from last year. They might have enough tackiness left to them. I'll probably put some grip wrap around it to hold it on there. Last year I tried all kinds of crazy things to get that VXR to tune. Eventually it was trying like 6 different combinations of the top hats. But in the process of figuring that out, I was playing with spine, played with side plates. I put a Ultra View B-Real grip on there. Just couldn't get it to work, but it was the top hat. So before doing my bottom knock set, I thought I would just go ahead and check my level. I know I have the arrow running through the center of the burger, so I'm just gonna, I'm sitting a little bit knock low, so I'm gonna drop this rest down a little bit. I really do like the micro clicks on this rest. They feel very precise. Go to 8, relock it. I like to if I'm micro adjusting a sight rest, after I make the clicks, I like to relock it down and check whatever it is that I'm checking, because with there being a little bit of slop when you loosen something up to micro it, it may not give you a true reading till you lock it back down. Looks good there. 4 shy of a full revolution. So I'll get my bottom set on there now and get the loop going. Just gonna throw my Peep in real quick here. I measured off of my Ventum, which is 33 inches axle to axle. This one's 31 inches axle to axle. Granted, string angle has to do with some things due to cam sizing. Peep height was just over 6, so I'm going to run this a little bit higher since it's a shorter overall bow to about, so maybe 6 1/4 or so. One thing to keep in mind, if you have a press at home and you're starting to do work on your own stuff, best press to get is one of the Last Chance presses. They make different grades at different price levels. They all work pretty close to the same. But pay attention to your limb angle, because the arms of the press have little set screws on each arm to change the pitch of them. And there's little spring steel that those ride off of, and you have to be careful of that spring steel hitting your limbs if you don't have the arms adjusted correctly. Let's see where that puts us here. Doesn't matter where you measure off of an existing bow for peep height or anything like that. You just measure from the same spot and make it your own. So right at 6 1/4, that should put me pretty dang close. I like to put my peep in the string before I finish tying off the string loop, just to see where rotation is gonna be. Sometimes you'll throw a loop on there, cinch it down, throw your peep sight in the string, and then one or the other is in a crazy, weird, twisted position. So that's a process I've deemed that I like to do. All right, throw my loop on, change my rest cord out to orange. There is a little set screw on the bottom of the thumb cocking lever to loosen up to change that cord out. Just an FYI. All right, so before I connect my contact point for my rest, I'm gonna check timing real quick, since this is a cable operated rest, and it can mess with your timing, but since it is contacted your cable, if I need to make any adjustments with my timing, I don't want to have to undo that cord off of the cable to twist my cable. This Last Chance system and having a draw board is just the absolute best thing to have. Wrap around the safety cord, hook it up, and pressure. So my top cam is hitting first. So since it's hitting first, I'm gonna put a half twist in that cable, which will change the position of that cam. Get that done here real quick. So I've got the bow lightly pressed. Pull this main string off the cam. That allows me to rock that cam so I can more easily get at that cable that I need to twist. And how much you twist cable depends on how many twists are in it initially. It's got quite a few already. That's one thing I would prefer, a shout out to manufacturers, is to not put as many twists in your cables. That way you can make smaller increment movements without affecting so much. It is important on your main string to have 1 twist per inch of length of bowstring. I don't know what the length of this string is. Let's call it 50 inches. A 50-inch main string should have 50 twists. 55-inch main string should have 55 twists. That gives you maximum benefit for peep rotation, but it's counterproductive to have a ton of twist in cables. that locked back in, pop the string back on, give her a little tug, double check all of your mini tracks and grooves and end loops and posts. I don't need to be super close right now. Obviously, it's a brand new bow, brand new strings. It's going to shoot in and possibly change a little bit. I want it to be close out of the gate. You'll know if you don't have stuff in the right tracks when you go to start cranking on this and it blows up. That would be bad. Hopefully that doesn't happen to me. Okay. Exactly what I'm talking about here, Mathews. I put a half twist in that cable, and now the bottom cam is hitting first. Stop putting so many twists in your cable, for crying out loud. That was a little bit of a freak out there. I'll shoot it. Hopefully they'll come into time. On your attachment point for your cable activated fall away rest, because of the geometry of newer bows these days, you want to run where your activation cord contacts to your cable 4 inches at about a minimum below the bottom of the rest. So I'm doing a little serve in on top of their cable serving. That's going to be my stopper point for the ripcord cable clamp that I'm going to put on there. Granted, they shouldn't slip if they're tightened down. This gives me an added measure of security for slippage, but it also, doing it in orange on top of black, gives me a visual if that moved at all. Once the bow is finally tuned, timed, everything like that, my activation cord is in the spot where I want it, then I'll take a fine point Sharpie, and where the cord goes through that clamp system, I'll mark that bright cord on top and bottom as another visual indicator to make sure things aren't moving, or if I do happen to make an adjustment, I can see just how much it's moving, just like etched marks on a rest, etched marks on a sight. Having that visual is important. All right, so there's my serving that I add on there, that little clamp system on there. I've got it to where it can move just a little bit. I can check timing on it. There's 2 lines. Those lines need to match up. Depending on the bow, you know, maybe right before there's that last 1/2 inch to inch of draw length is where you want those timing marks to come together and match up. Let me double check things here. Trusty safety hook release. All right. No engagement. Shorten that sucker up. Add a little bit of tension. Ooh, shoulders are sore today. That's pretty good. A trick when setting up a cable rest, another trick among many tricks, shoot a bare shaft just for the purpose of making sure that your timing is correct, that the rest is falling on its own will from the activation of the bow firing. I've still done it to this day, thinking that the activation is correct. I go and shoot a fletch shaft through there. You hear a loud noise. Maybe your vanes rip off. It flies crazy to the target because you didn't have it activated correctly. Those vanes smash into the rest, knock it down, and it will ruin that beautiful felt job that you just put on there. So reminding myself right now when I take the first shots with this to grab a bare shaft and shoot it so I don't screw things up. So activation looks decent there. I'm gonna lock it down, throw the spot hog on here and get an arrow shot out of it. Just slapping the fast eddy on here real quick. I'm gonna level it later. I'm excited to shoot this bow. Been waiting a long time for it. Tell you what, all industries are hurt, but man, it's taken a long time to get stuff from any manufacturers. I know an order we placed with Spot Hog in November took 7 months to show up, and it's pretty scarce finding stuff out there to have. So whatever you can find, buy it. So I initially set up my left and rights of my sights by knocking an arrow and just using the gang adjust on the scope. Don't use up my... First make sure my micro adjust is in the center of its range, and then I just slide that scope to where I cover up my arrow with the string and then set my sight just to the outboard side of that. And then make sure this scope is turned. A good reference is to use that vertical elevation bar of the sight, and then you can match the front of the scope housing to that plane to get it fairly close, and then just tighten it down. Cool. All right, first shot here, bare shaft. Make sure that rest activates and falls. Mathews always feels so good when you shoot them. Let's check weight. Where's my weight scale? All right, here's one of them. Oh, there's my other one. Two different last chance weight scales. Let's see what the difference is between them. So that one says 61.3. Let's see what this guy says it's at. It's very smooth. It says 64 with a hold of 10. I don't think you... Let's try it again. 63.4, hold of 10.3. Shouldn't the hold weight have gone down? Let's try this guy again. $61.1, somewhere in that range. All right, we'll figure out what to do next with her. Okay, we're getting close to the end of this video. It's probably ran pretty long. I thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and leave a comment. I'm having fun with this, and I hope you guys are too. Just did a speed comparison between the Ventum. You're like, wait a minute, he's holding a Ventum. This guy's confused. This video is about his V3. Anyways, did a speed comparison. So this Ventum, both bows are 29-inch draw length per manufacturer spec. I didn't measure them out to see truly what they are. They're both 85% let off. They're both 60-pound settings. The Ventum is at 61.5 pounds. I weighed the draw weight on the same scale to give even comparison. So this one, 61.5 pounds. 400 grain arrow, 29-inch, shooting 279 feet a second. The V3 is 29-inch. It's coming in at 64 pounds with the same arrow, 400 grain gold tip, 285. So I could turn this one down a little bit. I bet they're going to end up close to about the same speed. So pick your poison there. Draw cycle wise, let's see. They're both smooth. The Hoyt has a longer valley to it, more of a rollover. Safety hook release. It's pretty constant all the way back. Not even a dump into the valley. Feels good. Suppose heavier. That's smooth. They're both good. I like them. Weight wise, this guy feels heavier. We'll use this same scale to see. They both have the same sight on there. This has a heavier arrow rest, the Trinity. It's got those dampeners, so those are a little bit of weight, but let's see what it says here. Should be right about 7 pounds. 6.52. Granted, none of them have stabilizers. Trying to keep them close to the same here. Oh gosh, this guy feels like he might be sub 6 pounds. 5.6 pounds on that guy. So that's cool. I can play with stabilizer. I did order some orange high-tech Deadshot dampeners for this. They'll be here in a few weeks. I'm going to go through some more processes with this bow, take the monkey tails off, put my cat whiskers on there, and pin them head to head. Thank you again for watching. Let me know if you want to see something between these two bows or my take between them. I'm curious to see which one is going to jive with me the best. Take care.